Henri lived during the time of the French Revolution. Henri was a very handy and creative person, always helpful. Unfortunately for Henri, Henri was on the wrong side of the revolution and scheduled to be executed by guillotine. He was marched up to the platform and secured in place with his head through the opening. The executioner pulled the cord to release the guillotine blade and cut off his head. But for some reason, the blade was stuck. Several people came up to try to fix it, but no one seemed to be able to fix the guillotine. Henri looked up and, being very handy, immediately saw what was wrong. Being helpful, he called out, "I think I see what your problem is." There are some people who probably should not be working to put themselves out of a job. Henri, for instance. Pastors, however, are not such people. The very nature of a pastor's calling is to empower others to do the works of ministry. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 to 13 tells us that Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors and teachers to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. So, if a pastor is doing a good job, they are constantly equipping people to replace them. And if the people are doing the works of service, then why do we need pastors? The truth is, there are always people who need equipping and strengthening in works of ministry. Until we all reach maturity and the whole measure of the fullness of Christ, which we will only do, it will only happen when we're with Christ in glory. We will need pastors to equip us. So the real question is, what works of service is God calling you to do? What is your ministry? How are you serving Jesus and his body? If you can't answer that question, you need to find your spiritual gifts and put them into practice. If you're not serving in ministry, now is a good time to talk to your pastor and get equipped. This is Pastor Jeff Collins, encouraging you to make it a great week.